This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, final hour of VSiN PrimeTime. Will Hill, Matt Youmans here. I'm at the Circus Sportsbook. Will, across the country, at his home in Connecticut tonight. Will, are you keeping a close eye on the Boston Celtics, who are down at halftime to the Magic?
Yeah, trying to keep an eye on everything. More so the Knicks, the Pistons, because that's later in the game, and I feel like the Pistons are more alive to pull off the upset. But yeah, flipping back and forth between Pistons, Knicks, the baseball, Magic, Celtics. We had an incredible ending in Bucks and Pacers, which an hour later, I'm still just in shock that game ended the way it did. So great sports night. All these hockey playoff games. How about the Maple Leafs up 3-0? Looks like they're about to go to the second round. They lose game 4, and then they get shut out at home tonight, 4-0. So they're back to Ottawa for game 6. So great time of the year for sports.
It was a big night in NBA and NHL playoffs. And how about this? The Pistons right now lead the Knicks 91-90 with 5 minutes to go. And Pistons trying to stay alive in this series. Right now, Knicks 1.5-point favorites live and minus 140 on the money line. Magic lead the Celtics 49-47 at halftime. Boston still a 6.5-point favorite for the game. 193.5 the total. Minus 360 the money line if you want to lay it on the Celtics. And as we talked about, the Milwaukee Bucks blew it tonight. They had a 118-111 lead with 35 seconds to go and found a way to lose 119-118. Pacers close it out in 5, and Pacers advance to the next round where they will face the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jeff Sherman of the Westgate Superbook just put out the series price for the next round. Will, let's get your instant reaction here. Eastern Conference semis, Cleveland minus 500, Indiana plus 400. About what you expected?
About what I expected. I've heard some enthusiasm for the Pacers, like, oh, they could give them 7, take it 7, they could push them. I think that might be a little far-fetched. It feels to me, just initial reaction, torn between Cavs and 5, Cavs and 6. I don't think it goes 7. I don't think it's a sweep, but I don't think the Cavs are in any real danger to lose the series. So torn between Cavs 5 and 6. Do you have an initial feel of who you'd pick and how many games?
Probably go with Cavs and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so tough to, first of all, never want to predict a sweep in a series, even a series like the Celtics over the Magic. I didn't want to predict a sweep because it's hard to do. You can fall asleep at the wheel for one game, and it's you're going 5 against a team that's got 2 shots at home to stay alive, and I thought the Magic would get a game. They did. Actually, the Grizzlies should have gotten a game against OKC, and that looked like a total mismatch at the start of that series. So it's so difficult to predict a sweep. I think a team like the Pacers can push the Cavs to 6. I would go with Cleveland in 6 in that series. The best, hopefully, yet to come tonight. It's our VSiN Primetime game of the night, Clippers and Nuggets in Denver. And the Circa has bounced from Clippers minus 2 to 1 to now 1.5. Westgate Superbook at 2, DraftKings at 1.5. Clippers are going to close the favorites tonight in Denver. This series is tied at 2. The total is 210. When they played Saturday in L.A., Nuggets won in the last 10th of a second on an Aaron Gordon dunk, 101-99. Total 210 tonight. Will Hill, you and I both have the Nuggets to win this series in 7 at about 4-1. How do you expect this game to play out in Denver?
I've decided to not bet it before the game. I'm going to hope Denver gets a lead and take the Clippers plus the points. I've gone back and forth because I feel like the Clippers are better, but I felt like all along this is destined for 7. If it's destined for 7, and I'm of that belief, it's 2-2 headed to game 5. Why am I going to jump off now? It's Jokic. They're home. I'll go with Denver winning. Like I said, I've been back and forth. I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Clippers won. And if you tell me right now it's a blowout, I think the Clippers probably win because I don't think Denver's good enough to blow them out. But I think vice versa, the Clippers could blow them out. I'll hope Denver gets a lead. I'll take Clippers plus the points. But I'll if I had to pick one way or another, I guess I would just take the point with Denver. But should be a great game. It's been a great series. It's been an evenly played series outside of game 3 where the Clippers ran and hid. You're talking about 3 coin flip games. So why wouldn't we have another coin flip game here in game 5? I'm hoping it goes 7, obviously, for entertainment's sake and for our ticket's sake.
No, I agree with you. I think we're going to have a great one tonight. And actually, 3 of the 4 games in the series have been really good. First game was won by the Nuggets, 112. Excuse me, hold on. Yeah, first game won by the Nuggets, 112-110. Clippers won the second one, 105-102. Then there was a blowout in Game 3 in L.A., 117-83. And then, like I said, the Nuggets win in the last tenth of a second, 101-99 on Saturday to tie the series at 2. I feel like the Clippers have looked like the better team in 3 of the 4 games. Slightly better, even though I'm going to stick with that Nuggets in 7 prediction. Part of that, Will, was if it gets to 7, we've got the best player on the planet and the home team at 4-1, plus 400, and that's a great spot to be if we can get this series to 7 games, right?
Absolutely. And you don't want to start talking hedge in Game 5, because if you start hedging in Game 5, you're going to hedge again in Game 6, and then you get to Game 7 and then hedge again, and all of a sudden you hedge your way out of a profit where you got to, something's got to happen just to break even. So I understand the process of, if the Clippers win tonight, that's bad for our ticket. So maybe you just take a little Clippers as a little insurance policy. I've thought about that, but just once you start to do the math, first of all, it's not a big bet for me. And just the math of it, it's like, man, it's just going to be hard to profit off of this ticket if I start hedging right away. So I'll hope for a Denver lead, hope to come in Clippers plus the points. Should be a really good game.
And also, live betting, a great option in this game tonight. When you talk about a line that's 1.5 or 2, a lot of times you're just better off to wait and grab a better number live. So we'll see how that works out tonight. But Clippers going to close, looks like 1.5, 2-point favorites at Denver in our game of the night. Pistons up 95-92. Now it's tied. Knicks hit a 3. Pistons just had a 5-point lead, and the Knicks have tied it at 95 with 3 minutes to go. Knicks favored again, 1.5, and Knicks minus 145. So this game's going to go down to the wire at the Garden tonight, and we're about to get underway in Clippers Nuggets in Denver. We are underway. The puck is dropped in Vegas, and we have a 1-1 tie. Vegas Golden Knights struck first, and Minnesota Wild just countered with a power play goal. They got it past Aiden Hill, and it's 1-1. So total was 5.5. 9 minutes into the game, both teams have a goal on the board at T-Mobile in Vegas. Will Hill, we started the night talking about the New York Yankees, and that 4 of the first 5 batters of the game hit homers against Kyle Gibson. How did Carlos Rodon and the Yankees end up tonight in Baltimore?
Actually, didn't see a final score. 14, 15 runs they had last time I looked. I know Rodon carried a perfect game into the 6th, and the Yankees made some history. First team in baseball history to have 2 games in the same season where they hit back-to-back-to-back homers to start a game. So 2 different times they've done it, and they did it March 29th and a month later, April 29th. So really strange stuff, and it was kind of giving you a flashback of that Saturday afternoon against Nestor Cortez early in the season when they hit all those home runs in the first inning. Grisham, Judge, Rice all went deep in the first inning, and then Bellinger, who's been very cold, has not been a great acquisition for the Yankees. He hit one, Rice hit a second one. So a place where the Yankees have typically scored some runs. They scored a bunch tonight, got a good outing from Rodon, and boy, Baltimore's just a mess. That was a team that looked like they had a bright future last year, the last couple of years where they were good, almost like Oklahoma City Thunder. They're good. They've got good young players. They've got prospects. They're going to be good for years to come. Well, their pitching is injured, and they just can't get anybody out. Their pitching is an absolute disaster at the moment.
Yankees win the game 15-3. Carlos Rodon was perfect through 5. He went 6. He allowed 2 runs, struck out 7, did allow 1 homer, but the Yankees again win by 12, 15-3. Yankees get homers, 2 from Ben Rice. Also homers from Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, Trent Grisham, and Wells. And even though you said Bellinger's off to a slow start, he's batting .206. I think he's going to be okay. I'm not that worried about him. How about Paul Goldschmidt batting .363? Aaron Judge batting .412. And Grisham batting .294 at the top of that Yankees lineup.
Yeah, good addition, Goldschmidt. That's a guy who they took a chance on, didn't have a great season, but he did have a good second half last year. I know the Yankees were hoping that carried over. It seems to have. And when you got Judge hitting the way he's hitting, you don't need much around him. You've gotten a great season, or really maybe an all-star type season from Ben Rice, who it gives you a presence from the left-handed side, which they desperately need without Soto. Grisham's actually giving them some pop. And then you add in what Goldschmidt is. There's some holes in the lineup, but there's holes in every lineup. So, look, they've had issues with closer. They've had issues in the rotation. It's not a great rotation by any means. Anytime you got Carrasco and Marcus Stroman and Will Warren and all these guys, it's not great pitching. but it's a watered down American League where if you just get in, anything can happen. I think they're at least looking like a playoff team so far.
We've had some blowouts in baseball tonight. The Braves up on the Rockies. The bad news Rockies about to drop to 4-25. They're down 7-1. The Mets beat the D-backs 8-3. The Red Sox pounded the Blue Jays 10-2. And the Cubs blanked the Pirates 9-0 in baseball tonight. Padres up 3-0 on the Giants early, so the Padres bet's looking good for Adam Burke so far. Take VSiN with you anywhere, anytime. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today and stay connected to the action wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, available on your phone, tablet, and smart TV. With the VSiN Watch app, you get 24/7 live access to our audio and video streams, replays of your favorite shows. Never miss a moment. Big screen streaming straight to your smart TV and quick access to clips by sport. Watch VSiN anywhere. Download the VSiN Watch app today. We had a question to come in tonight from Ryan Hyatt about the Derby, and I think this Derby betting pool is so massive you have to take a shot in this race every year. He also had a question about the mint juleps. Have you ever had a mint julep and actually liked it? Will Hill, that question's for you because I don't know if I've ever had one, and it doesn't sound too attractive to me. What do you think? Have you had a mint julep?
I have not had one. I'm open to trying it. I haven't had one. I'll leave it at that.
I don't think I have either. Might have to try one this week just so I can answer that question. All right, quick break here on VSiN Primetime. We can come back. We're going to talk more baseball betting, catch up on the Pistons and the Knicks. We're headed to the final minute at the Garden, and Detroit has the lead. All right, let's start at the Garden. This is getting interesting. Will Hill, final 30 seconds. Looks like Bridges for the Knicks just hit a three from the corner. And it was 103-97 Detroit, now 103-100 with 25 seconds to go. Did you see that shot?
Yeah, and look, it's second guessing. You're up 6. You don't want to foul or anything, but just don't give up a 3.
Right.
Give up a 2. Defend that 3-point line like your life depends on it, because it's very hard to make up a 6-point deficit in the last 20-something seconds without turnovers, missed free throws, or threes. So just give them a 2. Even if they dunk the ball, I'm just not giving up a 3 there. So still in good shape. As long as you can inbound it, make your free throws, you should be okay if you're Detroit. Boy, if they ever blew this one, it's like, man, it's conceivable that Detroit should be up like 5-0 in this year. Detroit could have and should have won probably a lot, all of these games. They've been in or ahead in a lot of them. So Detroit's been right there looking to force a game 6 at home. And it's been a competitive series. So it looks like Detroit should be able to hang on. But we've seen crazier things happen. And we've seen crazier things happen tonight as Milwaukee blew a 7-point lead in the last 35 seconds. Yeah,
that's the thing. You can always say should have, could have. This team should have won this game, should have won that game, but you got to close. You got to close the game, and you talk about that a lot in the NFL too. How many close games are? You got to win the close games. You got to close the game. Milwaukee Bucks had a meltdown tonight, up 7, 35 seconds ago, and lost 119-118. Pistons trying to avoid a similar meltdown here, up 6 with 30 seconds to go, and now up 3, and it looks like the Pistons might have drawn a foul and are going to the free throw line. I can't tell what's happening here. Might be a turnover. What's going on? Pistons got the ball. I think Cunningham.
They were very lucky to get it because that was a loose ball. It's almost like an onside kick in football where it was inbounded, it was tipped around, and that was up for grabs for anybody. And then it bounced around and eventually landed with a Pistons player who got fouled with 16 seconds left. He will go to the line. You figure even if you make 1 out of 2, the Pistons are in pretty good shape here, barring a miracle. Bad inbounds pass, so that could have easily been stolen.
Yeah, they got a little bit lucky there, no doubt about it. So we are underway now in Denver, just tipped. Circuit went back and closed to 2. The line dropped from 2 to 1, went to 1.5, and went right back to 2. So pinballed from 2 to 1 back to 2. Clippers closed -2, total of 210. That game is underway. That's our primetime game of the night. We'll see if the Pistons can stay alive here. Now it's 104-103. Knicks bury a 3 with 6 seconds to go. Pistons missed a free throw. Knicks hit a 3, and Pistons trying to blow this thing too. So that's where we stand. The live betting screen, obviously, about 30 seconds ahead of your TV. So there's a missed free throw from the Pistons. If you're watching on TNT, the Knicks are going to come down here and hit a 3, and that's going to make it a 1-point game with 6 seconds to go. Will, it's amazing how these threes drop at the end of basketball games. When a team is behind, it seems like the threes drop at about 75%, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. And then when you shoot these threes, if you miss, you get that long offensive rebound usually on the long shot. So yeah, it's similar to a football game, to keep the football analogy. It seems like a team is down 10 with 90 seconds left or something. They almost always score. It's only that prevent defense. You think, man, the team on offense goes in that hurry up, and it's like, man, why couldn't they just do this all games? Similar thing with these threes at the end of these games.
How about this in the first minute in Denver? Okay, this is just the first minute. The Nuggets lead 4-0. The line has flipped from Clippers -2 to Nuggets -1.5. There you go, Will. If you didn't want to lay a price or lay a point with the Clippers, now you could take +1.5. 50 seconds into the game. That's how quickly it changes on the live betting. Pistons up 104-103. DraftKings has got Detroit at -1,050 on the money line. If you want to lay $1,000 to win 100, go ahead. If the Pistons turn it over, good luck. 104-103. Knicks have hit back-to-back threes after they trailed 103-97. Early in the third quarter, Celtics 54-53 over the Magic. Celtics -$5 on the money line, and that's where we stand in the NBA playoffs as we speak. By the way, the captain strikes for the Vegas Golden Knights. I think it was Mark Stone beat Gustafson, the goalie, and the Knights take a 2-1 lead. So a total of 5.5. We've got 5.5 minutes to go in the first period, and Vegas leads Minnesota 2-1 out of T-Mobile here on the Strip. All right, Will Hill, what do you think we're going to see here from the Pistons? They got to successfully inbound the ball and get to the free throw line. We got to actually, the Knicks are going to have a shot here, and the Pistons are going to have to make a free throw or two.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see the Knicks timeout situation. So even if you make both of them, Knicks are going to have an opportunity. If the Knicks don't have a timeout, I would certainly look to foul if I could make both of them from Detroit. But first things first, Detroit is to inbound it, make your free throws. They have left themselves a very narrow margin. What looked like a comfortable win 30 seconds ago is now going to be intense time. As they do get the ball in, they draw a foul, and it looks like Cunningham is going to the line for two. So they got that part down, but now you got to sink a couple, and now you got to dodge a last-second shot here from the Knicks.
Well, all right, so I see on the live betting screen it's 105-103, so he makes at least one free throw. If he makes the second one, you have to foul, right? You can't let the Knicks get off a three-point attempt. He does make the second one, so it's 106-103. Yeah. So what do you think? You cross half court, you're under 3 seconds, you got to foul, right?
Yeah, I don't know. If the Knicks have a timeout, they can advance it, though. By the way, JB Bickerstaff is not exactly Red Auerbach or anything based on some of the end of these game situations and some of his challenges, but I would absolutely foul. I understand, especially if it's Brunson, he's got an ability to draw fouls, and you're concerned about drawing a 3-shot foul. I get that. But if you can do it smart, I would certainly foul and go that route.
Looking at the graphic, I don't think the Knicks have a timeout, but I can't see it clearly. I think Tibbs has used all the timeouts. Yeah, the Knicks cannot call a timeout and advance the ball. They're going to bring it up, and I think the Pistons are going to foul at half court with 2.6 seconds left, right?
Yep, did a good job.
Yep. I could have actually waited a little bit longer, but
wait a little bit, but you can't nitpick. That's better than the alternative. Better to go too early than too late and not get it done at all.
No doubt. Fouled right as the ball handler was getting to half court. So 2.6 on the clock. Pistons up by 3. And we'll see if they play it correctly. Who's at the free throw line here? Miles McBride. Okay.
Yeah, McBride.
And he misses the first.
Now you got to miss the second on purpose, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you can't go for a make and then try to get the steal. That's risking too much, and you don't have a timeout. You gotta, which is tough. It's hard enough to, when you're down 2, to miss it and try to get the tip in. When you're down 3, to try to get a miss and a 3, now you're really up a creek.
Got to try to miss it, bat it out to the 3-point line, and hope you can put up a Hail Mary at the buzzer and hit it. Seeing crazy things happen. I think we just saw something crazy happen at the buzzer in the Clippers-Nuggets game on Saturday, right?
We sure did. This would be a tough spot, though, and this is a tough guys struggle this. We see this all the time, college basketball. These guys struggle to miss it well. It's something I think they probably should practice more, where sometimes they miss everything, or they just hit the backboard, or you don't give yourself a bounce. I guess the ideal way to do it is to a low line drive and just hope you get a long bounce. But again, when you got to make the three off it,
I wouldn't do that. I would throw it high. I would arc it high off like the back of the rim and try to get a big bounce right off the back of the rim. And that's a tricky thing too, because you really don't want your guys practicing missing free throws, right?
Right. Bad habit. Right?
Bad habit. You have enough trouble with that anyway. I believe, here we go, he
did it your way.
He misses a free throw. The ball bounces out to the three-point line after it was batted around, and the Knicks do not get a shot off. So the Pistons stay alive. 106-103. Detroit gets the win. And Pistons tonight went off as 5.5-point dogs. That does stay under the total of 215.5. So the total was bet up a little bit, and it stays under tonight. Underdog and under in New York. How do you feel about the Pistons moving forward? I kind of feel like going into this series, and this is my concern with the Rockets, Will, in the NBA, a lot of times young teams, most times, almost all the time, young teams have to pay their dues, right? They got to lose a playoff series before they can learn how to win in the postseason, get over the hump. I felt like the Pistons and the Rockets were kind of in that boat. Young teams that were probably going to get knocked out, even though I could not resist that price on the Rockets plus 170 with home court advantage. I think we're seeing the same thing here. These are young teams that are probably going to lose these series, talking about Detroit and Houston.
Yeah, do you have a sense now if Detroit forces a Game 7 or not? I mean, home court hasn't meant a lot. They've won 2 on the road. They've lost 2 at home. The road team is 4-1 in this year, or 4-2, I guess, now in this series. So home court has really not meant much. I
do not have a sense for that right now. I'll ask Paul Bovey, Knicks superfan, see what he thinks. All right, so Nuggets lead the Clippers 15-6. Right now you can get Clippers plus 4.5 live. It might be the time to jump in. This summer, go all in at Circa Las Vegas. With the Ultimate Getaway Package, just $400 all in. You get a 2-night stay at Circa, a $100 dining credit, a $100 beverage credit, and your own day bed at Stadium Swim, all for $400. And here's the key, resort fees and taxes included. It's a limited time offer and valid for stays between May 26th and September 4th. Don't miss out. Lock in your all-in summer package now at circalasvegas.com. All right, Celtics up on the Magic 59-58. Nuggets up on the Clippers 17-6. If you like JVT and you like the Clippers, now might be the time to take the points.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, Will Hill, we're back here on VSiN PrimeTime to wrap it up tonight. And the Nuggets all over the Clippers to start this game in Denver. This is our game of the night, 17-8. Nuggets did get as high as 4.5-point favorites live. Celtics up 65-60 on the Magic. Boston back up to a 10.5-point favorite. Total in that game is 191.5. And we are underway in everything. 2 hockey games, 2 Game 5s on the West Coast, and Game 5 in Denver tonight in the NBA. Will Hill, Matt Youmans here. I got to give you a little bit of feedback on Twitter. Will, you got a lot of fans out there. You know that, right?
Family members mostly, but I appreciate it.
Family members with burner accounts on Twitter. Scott C. Scott C. says, quote, I feel like VSiN Live made a great move by putting not the Will Hill in the regular rotation on VSiN PrimeTime. It's good to get info from respected voices. Love the show. And also we got a tweet here from Ace Rothstein who says, mint juleps are awesome. I'll have to take his word for it. I'll try one this weekend. I can't believe I haven't tried one yet. But mint juleps apparently are awesome. All right.
What goes in those, by the way? Do you know what goes in those?
I do not. I've never had one. So, no, don't know. Doesn't sound like something I would like.
Yeah.
Mint julep does not sound like something I'd want to drink.
But if you don't know what's in it, you don't really know.
Well, mint. I don't like mint. Yeah. And julep doesn't sound like something I'd like either. So, I don't know.
Can I complain for a second? I need to vent. A couple of people are texting me because I gave this out on
What's
VSiN.
Going on?
I gave out on VSiN. I bet it. Pistons in 6, 9-1, and 12-1. I feel like I should be heading back to Detroit up 3-2. Let all these games get away. I feel like I had the right idea. It's just frustrating.
Pistons in 6?
Yeah, I had Pistons in 6. That was my bet before the series. The Pistons were live, and I didn't bet them. I had a very small bet on them for the series price, which I counted out, which I guess is not dead yet. But the 9-1, the 12-1 were decent sized bet for me. And I feel like I should probably going back to Detroit up 3-2.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I say this all the time. You never know what would have happened tonight in Game
you're
5.
right.
If the Pistons had won Game 4, they might not have won Game 5 tonight, right? So
I was thinking that too. It's a great point.
A lot of people will talk about how the Pistons got robbed and the foul should have been called at the end of Game 4. But if they win that game, the Knicks probably win tonight, Game 5 at home. So you can never really look at it the way you say, I should have won that when they should be up 3-2 in the series. You know that.
Great. No, it's a great point. It's a great point. That actually does make me feel better because it's frustrating. And we were talking off during the break here. When is the time here to jump on the Clippers? Because 21-12, I'd love to be getting more than 3.5. It was 17-6. We can only get 4.5. I'm hoping, again, sometimes you get greedy with this stuff. 6, 7 in that range. I would love to fire on the Clippers, but that number that might never arrive. It might
not arrive, and that's the risk you take when you're playing live betting. You and I have talked about this during the commercial break. When it was 4.5, do you take the 4.5 with the Clippers at that point? I was tempted. I didn't do it. I decided I was going to wait. And I said my magic number at this point, when the game was 17-6, why not wait a little bit? Maybe we can get Clippers plus 7.5. If I could get 7.5, I was going to take it. And that was it. I was going to grab the 7.5. It never got there, but it still might. Right now it's 25-15. As I say that, the Clippers score, and now it's 25-17, so the number's still 2.5. You never know. We might get to 7.5. I'm not regretting not taking the 4.5 because that just was not enough.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. I agree.
All right, so Celtics up 70-60, starting to pull away. Final 3 minutes of the third quarter. Boston, 12.5-point favorite live, 190.5 the total. Will, quick update on a couple of baseball games on the West Coast because we talked about these games earlier in the show, and we were touting a Padres bet, so we got to check in on the Padres at Petco Park tonight, and that's Nick Pivetta going for San Diego, and it looks like Padres up 3-1 on the Giants in the fourth inning. San Francisco has one hit against Pivetta. That's it so far. You were saying maybe tonight is the night to bet the Dodgers on the run line. They blew it last night. They had a 5-0 lead, had to win 7-6 in extras. Dodgers feasting on a Marlins starting pitcher who is struggling. Will, who is that?
Sandy Alcantara has this reputation for when they trade him at the deadline, he could swing these pennant races. They can get a lot for him. He's not been good in a long time. He was hurt last year. He was bad the year before. It was, I think, 3 years ago now that he won the Cy Young, but he's been off to an awful start. He's walking guys. He's not getting swings and misses, and the Dodgers are all over him. I thought this was, again, it's easier to say now. It's 3-1, and I should have mentioned it before it started. I thought this was a fairly reasonable price on the Dodgers to only lay $2 at home against the Marlins. Granted, they're going with an opener and then a bulk guy that none of us really know anything about. This guy Sauer. So Dodgers pitching early in some dire straits with Glasnow and Snell being hurt and all of these injuries. But Alcantara is a guy that you can probably look to fade. His numbers don't match his name and his reputation at this point.
That's a great point. And Dodgers up 3-1, top of the second. Padres up 3-1 on the Giants, middle of the fourth. Mariners up 3-0 over the Angels, top of the fourth in Seattle. And why are we not betting against the Rockies every day? I think T-Bone, if you follow T-Bone on Twitter, he's been talking about this. He's been betting run lines against the Rockies every day. He lives out in Colorado. Braves 7, Rockies 2, top of the eighth. Rockies will drop to 4-25 with a loss tonight. Will, how many wins will the Rockies end up with this season?
37.
I said 40 last night, so you're going 37. Yeah. Okay.
I've docked him a few wins.
I think there's a number out there. It might be at FanDuel or somewhere. You can bet on the Rockies' adjusted win total right now. And somebody said yesterday it was around 47. Is that right? Did you see that?
I bet it under 45.5 this morning.
Okay. You got to play that, right?
Yeah, and this is now 8 straight. We talked about this yesterday. This is now 8 straight games with today's result. The Rockies' opponent team total has gone over. So it's like, I don't want to lay the $2. I don't want to lay the run line. Well, there's a lot of ways to play this stuff. The team total for the opponent, playing them over. I know it was 6.5 tonight, and it was expensive, but guess what? It wasn't expensive enough. The Rockies are just a dreadful, dreadful baseball.
All right, we got a bit of a lull in the action here in the NBA and hockey. Well, let's go back to the NFL draft. We talked a little bit about it, actually a lot about it here Monday and Tuesday. And let's finish off. I've got a column up at VSiN.com. I talked about some of the biggest winners from the NFL draft. I love the New York Giants draft. I really like the Pittsburgh Steelers draft. We've talked about the Steelers tonight. Let's focus on the Giants here for a minute. How about this Giants draft, Will? Abdul Carter, edge rusher from Penn State, number 3 overall. Jackson Dart, my favorite quarterback in the draft, at number 25 in the first round after a trade up. Defensive lineman Darius Alexander from Toledo. He's a stud. I think the Giants are going to have one among the best defensive lines in the league. And then the third pick of the 4th round, Cam Scatabo, battering ram running back from Arizona State. Absolute steal at that point in the 4th round. And I heard Mel Kiper say Marcus M'Bow from Purdue, offensive guard, was his favorite guard prospect in the entire draft, and the Giants got him in the 5th round. How about this draft from the Giants? Do you agree with me? You give it a thumbs up?
I do. My only question would be, are Joe Shane and Brian Dable going to be around to enjoy these guys in 2 or 3 years? Because you're going to win enough games. Are you going to be able to win? They're probably going to have to flirt with 500 for those guys to keep their job.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that they can do that. It's a tough division. 2 games against Washington, 2 games against Dallas. So I actually think might be a little bit better than people think. And then 2 games against Philly. But big picture, you got maybe a quarterback, you got a pass rusher, and now you got a bunch of pass rushers. I thought Scatabo was a steal. So absolutely. Is it enough to get me? Boy, before the draft, I was thinking play them under 5.5. I don't know that this is enough to push me over the 5.5. Maybe this is enough to just keep me off the under 5.5, though.
I think Giants were 3-14 last year, bottomed out. I like this over 5.5 plus 115. I know Jackson Dart's probably not going to help much this season if he plays much at all, but I do like Brian Dable. And I think the Giants will stick with him. They're going to give him another year to develop this quarterback. Abdul, first of all, it starts with the Giants on the defensive line. And this defensive line is really, really good. And the offensive line's improved. I think the Giants, it's tough to climb up the ladder in the NFC East with Commanders, Eagles, the Commanders, and the Cowboys. But I do think the Giants are going to be better. The win total 5.5 over plus 115 at DraftKings. Will, the Westgate Superbook just posted NFL win totals within the hour tonight. Giants are up 5.5. They put the Giants over minus 120 at 5.5. Your Denver Broncos are at 9. Broncos at 9 minus 110 both ways. We'll talk about why you like the Denver Broncos so much after the commercial break. Right now, I've got to tell you, if you want to know where the real money is going, unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, giving you insight into where the sharp action is on each game. Get VSiN's summer special right now for only $59. August 1st, $59 all the way from now through August 1st at vsin.com/subscribe. You get the betting splits. You get all the content up on the website, and you can watch all the shows via vsin.com if you're a VSiN Pro subscriber. Update from the NBA as we go to commercial here. Celtics 83-62 have really opened it up on the Magic. 21-point lead. Now 22.5-point favorites live. At one point, you could have laid 7.5 points with the Celtics. Hopefully you did. Nuggets up 26-19, 2.5-point favorites. Back here to wrap up the show with best bets on VSiN PrimeTime.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
We're going to have best bets here in a minute. Will Hill, Celtics going to close out the Magic tonight. Now it's just a matter of time. 89-67, 22-point lead, 22.5-point favorites at DraftKings. Nuggets up 28-19 on the Clippers, and Nuggets 4.5-point favorites live. It might get up to 7.5, so you got to keep your eye on that if that's the magic number for you and taking the points with the dog tonight. So we're talking aftermath of the NFL draft, and I really like the Giants draft. I don't know if it's going to equate to a bunch of wins in the regular season, but I do think the Giants are headed in the right direction. I like the Steelers draft. We'll see if they bring in Aaron Rodgers. But you like the Broncos a lot, and I agree with you. And, Will, you remember last year, I bet the Broncos over their win total, and it was a low win total, around 5, 5.5. Broncos got off to an 0-2 start, but they ended up 10-7. Now this is a team you like a lot. And did you like their draft a lot, or you just like the team a lot, or both?
Both. I think they've just got a really good defense. Players on all three levels. You're going to bring in Harvey now. They can run the ball. I think it's interesting where people soured on Sean Payton to the point where he actually became underrated and people wanted to discredit his career. And look, he rubbed people the wrong way. So I get that it's just natural. When someone comes off as arrogant and you don't like him, you're going to say bad things about him. But he's a good coach. And they're really good. And then you look at the draft, Barron is going to contribute right away. He's going to improve that secondary. And Harvey's going to give them a Bowkel back. So I think that's, look, tough division, really tough division. Even the Raiders are going to be improved. That's a brutal conference, but I think they're underrated. That's a good home field advantage, and they've been a notorious place where it's hard to win, especially in September with the elevation. So over 9, I think, is a bet. -115, I think, is a bet. I understand these overs, these positive bets can get derailed quickly with, you could like the team all you want. Bo Nix misses 4 or 5, 6 weeks or whatever. All of a sudden, you don't really like your bet as much, and we're sitting here in April, May, where it's a long way away and a lot of things can go wrong. But just directionally, I thought the Broncos did well. And a team I haven't heard much about too that I think was pretty good. I'm curious your thoughts on the Broncos and your thoughts on this team. Arizona, they get Walter Nolan, 16th pick from Ole Miss. He slipped a little bit based on some of the mocks. Will Johnson, 47th. There were some health concerns there. He slipped, the cornerback from Michigan. And then Jordan Birch, the edge from Oregon. I think Arizona sneakily had a quiet little draft in the first 3 rounds here.
Yeah, Cardinals actually a draft I rated highly too. I like the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals team in general, but I thought they had a pretty good draft. And those first 3 picks on the defensive side were good ones. Will Johnson's a hell of a player. The problem is it's not just one injury. He's had about 4 injuries in the last 2 years. So it's always a little bit scary. I think that's why he drops. It's the fact this guy's been so injury prone with multiple injuries the last couple of years. Why the Michigan corner was drafted in the second round and dropped so far. DraftKings has up a big menu on NFL win totals. By the way, you could play Broncos over 7.5 if you wanted to lay 450. You could bet over 9.5 at -110. You could play under 11.5 at -360. They've got numbers up from 5.5 all the way to 13.5 on the Broncos, and you got 5 options pretty much on both ways on each team on win totals at DraftKings. Westgate Superbook just put up win totals within the past hour, and the Broncos are at 9 -110. So 9 would be a good number if you're looking to bet the over Will Hill. But as you and I were talking about during the break, it's tough unless you have an unlimited bankroll to make a lot of futures bets on the NFL right now because you got to wait about eight months to cash it.
Yeah, or some of these books that, theoretically.
If you're going to bet on credit, you can bet with your bookie on credit, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, you can find, this is a good bet, that's a good bet, this is a good bet. Okay, they might be good bets, but at some point, you run out of money. We're still betting baseball and basketball and all these different sports all day. So there is that push and pull with, okay, it's a good bet, but you don't want to sit here in September with your bankroll tied up until, January for bets that may or may not cash. So just if you tell me right now, is Denver over 9 a good bet? Yes. Is it a good bet worth making, worth tying up your bankroll when, look, Bo Nix could get hurt in training camp or mini camp, or they could just go 8-9 or something and have a regression year in that good conference, good division. Just on its surface, over 9 is a good bet, but tying up your money does add an extra layer to that. How do you handle that as someone who's a sharp bettor? When to tie it up and how long to tie it up?
So I made, I think I made 8 NFL win total bets last summer. So I made the first couple in May. I bet some more in July and August, and that's how I handled it. Actually went 8-0. I'm not bragging about that. All those were on the record at VSiN. That was the best year I've ever had with NFL win totals. But typically I bet a couple over the summer, but not too many. If there's a number I really like, I'm going to play it now. But typically you can wait till July or August to play them. You don't want to wait too long. Some of those numbers get away from you.
Right.
But there's so many options out there with so many different books, I don't think you have to panic. And also, if you're looking to play overs, sometimes you want to be a little bit cautious because injuries in training camp or in the preseason could be a problem, could turn out to be an unforeseen problem. I'm going to give you my Kentucky Derby best bets here. And we got some tweets on the Derby, too, I'm going to get back to. Best bets are brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. G-Bank is upping the ante with up to a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First, new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening receive a $250 bonus. In addition, if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within 30 days of account opening, you'll receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now at vsin.com/gbank. That's vsin.com/gbank, subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. All right, G-Bank best bets for the Kentucky Derby. Bob Ike was on the show tonight, and again, Bob's about as sharp as it gets. I like he's got 4 of the horses I've got here. 8 Journalism, which is a favorite. Hate to tout the favorite in the 20-horse race. But again, that's going to be part of your try boxes, whatever you put together here. Journalism, the 8. We're going to go Burnham Square, the 9. Good post next to Journalism. Can stay with them and maybe steal the race down the stretch at 12-1. That's a morning line price on Burnham Square, the 9. Sandman, the 17, is a deep closer. Don't like the post, but his best race was his last race. Sovereignty, the 18, a lot to like here, but again, far outside, must navigate a lot of traffic at 5-1. By a long shot, Final Gambit, the 3, at 30-1. A deep closer. This is going to be a hot pace, and this horse is going to save ground on the rail. Final Gambit, the 3. And then Paul Nelson on Twitter and Chris the Bear Felica. You contacted him. They both like the 7. And the Bear, if the Bear likes the 7 Luxor Cafe, count me in. So I'm going to include the 7 in some of the combinations here. How has the Bear done historically on the Derby? I know he's sharp with the horses.
He showed me the envelope he walked home with last year, so I'm going to be tailing his picks. I'll put it that way. He did well. Good
to hear.
Yeah.
Ace Rothstein on Twitter says, mint julep recipe. Ready for this, Will?
Yes.
2 ounces of bourbon, preferably 90 proof Maker's Mark. 1/4 ounce simple syrup. 8 mint leaves. I don't know where the hell you get mint leaves. Where do you get those?
I think they have them at they have them at most grocery stores. You get mint leaves.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't go to the grocery store too often. You're not going to find mint leaves at the liquor store, right?
That I'm not sure.
Middle mint leaves and simple syrup. Add bourbon and pack your rocks glass with crushed ice. Stir until the glass is frosted. Top with more ice and garnish with a mint sprig. Okay. I have to have somebody else make that. That doesn't sound great. Irv Leifer on Twitter says, mint juleps are terrible. I've had plenty, and they never disappoint. Awful. So we got both opinions there. Ace Rothstein loves them. Irv Leifer hates them. Will, if you try one this weekend, let me know how it turns out. Are you going to watch where are you going to watch the race?
I'll probably just watch it at home. If our guy doesn't like the mint juleps, though, he says, I always have them, and they're always bad. Why do you always have them if they're not good? I don't understand.
I don't know. He says he's had plenty, and they never disappoint. Awful. That's a good point. Isaiah, who is the head of communications at VSiN Stats and Info, says the opponents on the runs line against the Colorado Rockies this season are 18-10, and that will be 19-10 after tonight if the Rockies go down to the Braves again. And a quick score update, Braves 8, Rockies 2. So opponents on the run line will be 19-10 against the Rockies if that score holds. In the NBA, wrap up the show. Celtics up 101-75, total blowout in Boston. And Nuggets 39, Clippers 30. We are at the 10-minute mark in the second quarter. Nuggets now 5.5-point favorites, Will.
Keep waiting for that 6.5 or 7.5. Maybe it was up a second ago when it was a 12-point game, but I'm just going to let it ride for now, and hopefully we get to a 7th game. I've got a feeling Denver wins, Clippers win, and then we head to 7.
Vegas Golden Knights up 2-1 on the Minnesota Wild. That wraps it up for tonight. Thanks to Adam Burke, Jeff Sherman, Mac Grill, and Bob Ike, and Will Hill. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.